Thanks for watching. If you're new here, my name is Crystal Carmen, and I am a marketing coach and the CEO of Beauty and the Geek. I am here with Tisha, who is a marketing consultant for Beauty and the Geek and the owner of Added Advice, CEO of Added Advice, which is a company that can help you as well with business and business credit. So, anyway, we're here today, and she has a question, a pressing question that she has about Beauty and the Geek. Go ahead.
When I interact with your company, I know that you are a beauty mogul. What pressed you to add geek to all of the things that you do?
That's a good question, and I do get asked that often. So, here's how this works. Okay. What people don't know, because I had come up into the beauty world. I was a model. I then became a makeup artist, and I became a fashion show curator and a cosmetic formulator. And so everything was centered around beauty and fashion, right? So very few people had a like backstage view into my life, and I am a self-professed geek. And so that term used to be offensive to me, but isn't any longer. And basically, I love everything computers. I love technology. I am a gadget girl. If it's a newfangled gadget, I won't pretty much want it. I don't just buy things because they come out. I buy things when I check the specs, and I could research something or research like two cameras or two computers until like I'm blue in the face. When I was very young, my uncles um, and one of them has passed on me. He rest in peace. Two of them actually have passed on me. They rest in peace. Purchased a computer. So I had a computer back when it was a black screen and green text, and my printer
Not the code.
and my printer had these little things on the side with holes, and you after it printed you had to like rip the side holes off, the perforations, and the holes that were used to actually run the paper through the printer. So
With carbon paper?
I
Honey, you have just dated yourself. I can't even right now.
I cut my teeth on a computer from when I was very young. I had the like a 5 disc CD changer like when I was like 12, I think. So so I was very blessed to be brought into the technology world pretty early. And I say blessed because I feel like it really helped me be able to create a like online business. Pink's Little Cosmetics, one of my first businesses, had an e-commerce store, and that's pretty much how I sold the product. And I built that initial website myself. So, that being said, I love that. In my spare time, I study like automation, quantum physics. So there's a lot of geek in me, if you will. And so, anyway, that is the geek component. I think that in business, we need to be forward thinking. In fact, when COVID um, hit, it's still here, but when it first arrived right on the scene, one of the things that I sort of was thankful for is that while my spa was shut down for pretty much 4 months, for those of you who don't know that I own a spa, so it was shut down for 4 months because it wasn't like a necessary business. It didn't need to be open, right? And so they had it shut down for 4 months, and I went and I said, well, thank God that during the process of building my spa, I was already implementing digital ways of doing the other thing I love, which is coaching. So I was coaching, I was producing digital products, I was writing ebooks like well before COVID. So when COVID happened, yes, I did have to close my spa. I did lose obviously a huge chunk of my primary income, but I still had an ability to pivot now and use my resources that I had already created and the technology that I already understood to find a way to kind of focus all of my efforts there. And I was able to pretty quickly, in my opinion, transition to being online pretty much all the time because I had already, done it for so long.
Well, with your skill set in geek, what advice or what's one tip you'd give to someone who's never been online before?
Okay, so well, there's different components. So my tip for like, I mean, there's a couple of tips. First of all, I don't know if I can leave it to one if they've never been online before, um, because it depends on their industry, right? So, the other aspect of why we're called Beauty and the Geek is my partner is a geek, right? So I created this partnership with an engineer, of all people. Yep, I never thought that was gonna happen, but I did. So I joined forces with an engineer, so software engineer as well, electrical and software engineer, and so one of the things that he loves is automation, and one of the things that I love is just anything digital, like getting people to see your stuff digitally. So I guess my first tip or advice would be to begin by the course of the least resistance, which is create a social presence, right? So you don't necessarily have to run straight into the website if that makes you feel uncomfortable, but you want to get started somewhere. And so to get started somewhere, I would begin reserving my social media pages by creating a Facebook. If you're watching this right now, that should already tell you that you need to have one of those. So having a Facebook, having a Instagram at minimum, and then you want to start working on your website and having some sort of platform. If you can't do a full fledged website right away, consider something like we offer at Beauty and the Geek, which is an instant site. It is a mobile first optimized site that gets all of your information out there, and has the ability to collect data, collect email, and everything quickly from your clients, even text number, numbers for text message marketing, so that you have some sort of presence and you're collecting information. So there's the money is in the info, and being able to reach out and touch your consumer and contact them again.
Oh,
So
so the name of the game is data.
absolutely. And so if I can share, and I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but just to show how important the information is. I have a lot of entrepreneurs who are vendors, right? And for those who may not know what that means, is that they sell products and they have events, or rather, they go to events where they are paying to be present and sell their products, right? So they're vending, and as the owner of Pink Sloto Cosmetics, and even Vanity did vendor events when we first started to get people to know our brand in the area. So the thing about it is that when I would go to a vendor event, like everybody around me was worried about selling the product. I didn't care if I sold the product. I wanted your email address. I made it look good. I sold some product. If I sold product, whoopee. If I didn't sell product, I need your email address. I was going there for the information. Why? I was going there to give out as many free samples of my lip whips as possible. Why? Because all I was worried about was how many people I was touching. I didn't care that nobody bought my 5 minute makeover kits. I didn't care that I went home with, 20% of my lip whips, because you aren't ready to buy now. But it usually can take up to 17 contacts for someone to make a purchase with you. So while they weren't ready to buy at that time, had I just let them go without giving me any information, right? I would never get that second chance, third chance, fourth chance. But if they could give me their email, I was going to get my 17 shots. And so that's pretty much what I mean. Like, it's totally vital to be collecting information because people may not be ready to buy right now. There are four reasons why people don't buy, and the moral of the story is that one of those is it might not be the right time. They might not have the money, right? So they don't have the money to buy what you have, or they don't have enough information to make the decision, and so they don't, right? But then if I email you next week and you happen to get paid, or you had a bonus, or it's tax season, you're gonna remember. I wanted those lipsticks. Uh, I wanted my microblading. Uh, I know I told this girl I wanted a facial. She keeps posting about facials, and you're gonna be top of mind.
So even after meeting someone one time, you still have to make impressions 16 other times.
I mean, you don't have to every time, but generally, yeah, you have to keep making contact. Um, a good way to actually bring this to into the beginning is, do you remember when Uber first started?
Yeah.
Nobody trusted Uber. Nobody trusted Uber at all. Hold on one moment. Hello?
Dang, you make the phone ring a long time.
You're on the air.
Huh?
You're on the air.
On the air.
Yes.
I'm not in the. You mean in the cloud or what?
No, I'm on a live stream right now. I'm on a live stream right now on Facebook. Well, on everywhere I said this. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch right now. As
You're in all the social media streets.
yes, I'm in these social media streets, and I'm answering some questions about how many contacts a person has to have with your company.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I was. Do you want me to call you back?
Yeah, you can call me back.
All right, bye.
I'll harass you on social media.
Okay,
Right,
that works too. Bye. So that was my partner. So
Hilarious.
right, I can't even let the phone ring. So where was I? Okay, so back to the Uber story. So Uber, when Uber first came out, were you not giving it a side eye? Think about
Everyone
that.
gives every new brand a side eye.
You gave it a side eye because you didn't know what it was. You like, maybe you even like the concept. Nobody who's ever waited 45 minutes for a cab did not double think about this. Like, hmm. But you know what you were thinking? I'm not getting into this car with some random stranger, even though that's essentially what you were doing anyway, right? But there was something a little more formal. It felt about taking a cab. They had to get a license, blah, whatever. Okay. But more of the story is that this is how it was, right? And so you did not have enough touch points with Uber for you to have any sort of trust in them. So you didn't want it. You rejected it. You were like, oh, nope, nope, let's go. Like, that's not what I want. Like, I don't know. Someone's going to kill me. They're not going to get me here in time. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. You came up with a whole bunch of things that let you keep pushing it to the back of your mind, right? And then what happened? All of a sudden, Daily News covered it. And then there goes a touch point. And then the Post covered it. And there went a touch point. And then basically people were like, oh, I really like it. And you heard your cousin say that they took an Uber. And you guys are having a 5-minute conversation about why that's risky and everything. That was a touch point. And then before you know it, you were downloading the app and you were in the car.
So all 16 points don't actually have to come from the individual. But
Correct.
if they work on their branding and become present, one touch point is other people talking about it.
Correct.
Another touch point is friends and family talking about it because they've experienced it.
Right.
Um, you said more like local news, so that's collabing with others.
Right.
All right, so that's at least four. So in person, others, friends and family,
Media.
and then being present on media.
Yeah, and then that could also be, and you could also get media coverage, right? Which is press, so you can get coverage in the newspaper, local paper. You can get coverage on television, as we did with Pink the Runway. So there's different ways to get these things out there, but these are all touch points. And what's really neat is that you can actually create some of those touch points yourself by making sure you're listed in the proper places, that you have the proper information on your website by SEO, which we do that at Beauty and the Geek. But there's ways to kind of create your own touch points. But the main point is that if I have your information, I can market to you later. If you guys don't know what a tracking pixel is, you want to look it up. That is basically the way that if you went and you decided that you wanted to go to my website and look up microblading, or go to our website on Beauty and the Geek and look up something, maybe you clicked on our sales strategy training for your company. Maybe you clicked on our branding suites, for our branding kits. Well, as you're browsing, maybe in a couple days, you might find that all of a sudden an ad that we were running pops up in your newsfeed. This wasn't an accident. It was intentional. It creates another touch point. And you could do the same thing for your business by way of branding, having something that people recognize. I had a story with my daughter. She told me she wanted to paint with my acrylic paint set, right? And originally I was like, but I was like, you know what? Let me just let her paint. So she goes off. She says, "Mom, can I have a T-shirt?" So I give her a white T-shirt that I was gonna toss out anyway. I hand her the T-shirt. She goes to town painting on it. She comes back and she tells me before she leaves, "I'm gonna make you a Beauty and the Geek shirt." So I'm laughing, thinking she's gonna make this hot pink Beauty and the Geek shirt. She comes back and makes a Beauty and the Geek shirt that has my colors. All of the Beauty and the Geek colors are on the shirt, right? Even down to the gold and the gray. And the gray she's never been exposed to, right? Like directly. She's never seen something that was our color chart. And yet she still knew that gray, gold, black, white were our colors, and brought me a t-shirt that was representative of the Beauty and the Geek brand. That is a touch point.
So having touch points are really simple because speaking to someone who anything about branding, doesn't know anything about SEO, search engine optimization, does not know anything about touch points, and has literally been in the retail and is now getting their business online, like all of this can seem really overwhelming.
Absolutely. It can seem overwhelming because in this day and age, entrepreneurs are obsessed with doing every aspect of their business themselves. But it is better to just get started than to do nothing. If you can work on just one thing, let's do the one thing.
That sounds great.
Yeah, so you want to do the one thing because anything is better than nothing. I keep telling people, done is better than perfect. So let's get out there and get one thing. You want to get your social media on, good. If that's all you can do is post on social media, let's get started with that. If you all you can do is send out a newsletter every other week, and please, for the love of God, send out newsletters enough that people are not like, oh, they're trying to sell me stuff. If you've been on the Beauty and the Geek mailing list, you know that sometimes I send you like a link, someone else's deal that they have that might be related to being an entrepreneur, maybe packaging, maybe labels, or I'll send you, something of value that can assist. Oh, I'm going to be on this clubhouse room, you know, free gems I've often put up. So you want to make some content so that they know that you still care, that you still know that they're there. If you're not, if email you don't got that down, hire it out. I mean, we've done email marketing for people who are great at their own social media. One of our clients made this really great invention, you know, and he is okay and confident with the social media posting. Then do that, you know, and then let us handle your email marketing and such. So that being said, um, that's the advice that I have is just get started, get done, get out there, get present. Stop going to these events with only the money making on your mind. In fact, less is more. Don't stress yourself out. Don't bring all your inventory. Bring some curated pieces, giving people the fear of missing out. Have an email list sign up. I used to bring an iPad You just bring an iPad over and set it up. Let them set it up so you have your what do you call it? Your sign up list right on the board. Let them sign up. If you don't have an iPad, that's okay. You print out a really nice sign up sheet with name, email, mobile number. How do I get people to sign up? Giveaways. And you offer it to people who seem genuinely interested in your product or service. Don't have this big sign up for a free giveaway, because then you get freebie seekers. If you see someone that seems active
Mm,
and engaged at your table, you can say, hey, we're giving away this basket right now to those people who stop by our table and seem to be interested in the product or service. You don't have to be present to win. Give us your best number and your best email address, because that's how you'll be notified of your prize. Well, they're not going to give you a fake email address if they want the prize. There you go.
it makes sense. A lot of people don't want to be sold, so how are we gonna sell products? How are we gonna sell services? So it's good to have tips and tricks and smart avenues to get to talk to customers without feeling like a car salesman.
Right.
The
And
stereotypical car salesman.
right, and that's the thing. That's why I tell people, I tell entrepreneurs that are vendors, yeah, we do want to make a return on our investment, but stop seeing the return as only how much you sell at the event. Dare I say, selling at the event does nothing ultimately if you don't procure the data. So even if you are selling and that's your thing, is I'm gonna just make sure I sell everything I came with, cool. But if you're just giving people, if you don't have a actual way of, like, the Cash App, Lord Jesus, with the Cash App, because there's no way to get the person's data. You have the person's phone number, if possibly, but you don't have the person's email address or anything. So you need a formal checkout process. You could accept the payment by Cash App, but you need to give them a receipt through a formal payment processor, because that's how you're going to get information. Otherwise, you're selling for right now. That's the hustle, right? I got to sell right now, right now, right now. I got to keep getting other customers because I can't keep the ones I have.
Right. So you don't build the brand because then you don't know if the new customers want things from you either.
Well, it's more expensive to get new customers. How many vendor events do you have to keep paying to go to? Right?
Yes.
It's expensive to procure a new customer. It's cheaper to keep her. If I if I have a client that I'm already getting paid from, or who has already paid me, it is way easier for me to get that client to pay me again, because we have a trust there.
Which is one of the touch points you had to build in the beginning.
Correct. And so that trust is, I already gave you my money and you've already delivered. So asking you to purchase, I'll give you an example. I think we did something with your Shopify, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you purchase anything from me after that?
Yes.
Why?
Because it was not just about Shopify, it was about exploring other things in beauty. I was already interested in beauty, and you kind of made a touch point with me about beauty while we were working on something technical unrelated.
Right. So all of those touch points, all of those things that happened over a course of time gave you the understanding that if you made a purchase with me, you were going to get delivered a product or service,
Right.
right? And in that understanding, it now became easier for the next purchase to occur,
Right.
right? And I'm not saying that was a move done intentionally. It just happens through the course of us connecting. And then and what happens is it's also easier for you to upsell, because if you've enjoyed what I've produced for you at this amount, can you imagine what I can do for you at that amount? Like, we had a client today who, what did she say? Hey, we made a bet and I want a free an additional coaching session,
Correct.
right? You also heard her say, I want your 6-month program.
Correct.
She was just in a 60-day program that's ending, and she's like, I'm upset. I cannot get right now your 60-day program. Not upset, but disappointed. Like that I can't get your 60-day program, right? I mean, your 6-month
Your
program.
6 months program from the 60-day program.
So you went
So
into a six.
so you have products to fit people's budgets. So if it's they don't want to make a commitment for 6 months, they can do 60 days, 30 days, so that's a touch point where they become comfortable with you.
Not just comfortable with me, but the results.
Okay.
It's almost like a trial, right? It's almost like saying, "Hey, let's see what I just actually referenced, right? Like let's see what can happen over the course of that time." Because the number one thing that people are concerned with when they do make those kind of investments is not seeing a return in some way, right? Now, of course, I educate my clients on what a return really looks like, right? And if you're in it, if you're in the business game to pull out in 1 year, then I don't think my program's for you. My program isn't meant for somebody who wants to get into business and roll out of business in 1 year, without doing any kind of like serious work. Like that's not my client. We need to focus on the, and it's the same thing with SEO. Everybody wants and knows that they need SEO, but they want the SEO to make a return on the investment in 10 days. Like that's not just not how this works, right? So, in those cases, that's not my client. Now, if I have a client who knows that this is how they want to grow their brand at least over the course of the next 2 to 5 years, then now we're talking. Now we're cooking with oil, right? But it gives them an opportunity like, oh, I can't jump into your 6-month program. Okay, well, let's do my 60-day quick start. And then if done properly, right, on my end too, you're gonna want that 6-month program like we saw happen. But that wouldn't have occurred though had there not been touch points prior, had someone not referred me to her in Clubhouse, had I not had a meeting with her where I expressed what I could bring to the table, had I not brought to the table what I said I was going to bring to the table. Those were all touch points.
Okay, so you working on your 17 touch points and
Right, and we already did a logo for her. Like there's different things where I've had an opportunity to deliver. So
that sounds amazing. I don't know if people realize how important the introduction of a person's business is to others, because sometimes people walk away it's like, yeah, you said done is better than perfect, but they also don't leave space for the person to get to know the brand because they're so worried about the sale. They don't make sure things are symmetric or aligned so that a good impression is left on the customer to be like, okay, I don't mind interacting with you again. It seems we're experiencing some technical difficulties, and we are gonna get Miss Cece back on the line shortly. While we have a little intermission and we await for Miss Crystal Carmen to come back, the owner of Beauty and the Geek, there are things that your business needs that Beauty and the Geek is, if you are not doing so well in sales, we got sales training. We help you expand your brand or focus in on your brand. If you feel like so much is going on and you're overwhelmed, we could have a focus session with you. We specialize in digital marketing. We help you expand your brand by including automation and intelligence into your brand, your website, to make sure that when customers come, they have a positive interaction and they don't leave empty handed or with less of an experience with you. We help with web development and SEO, and we help with your projects because it's not only about the brand. You may be having an event. You We help, we promote media. We promote on social media. We can get flyers done and out for your next event. You can even turn your website into a mobile app. Like these are just a few services that Beauty and Geek supports and executes on, from business cards, logos, poster boards, signs, to make sure everything looks right for your presentation to the media. So it's always a great idea to check us out at beautyandthegeek.co. Um, there are so many things in tech that happen. So we're having a tech break, and it's amazing that Beauty and the Geek has tech support. The zeros and the ones. We want to make sure that you have a a ultimate presence with your brand and wake up to them sales. It's not just about the selling like we covered, it's about making those touch points. If you gather the information, you get to, we say, target and retarget ads, promotions, and just simple communications. Tell people, you know, something about you, something amazing or something funny that has happened to you in a newsletter. It helps people not feel being sold to. And it is amazing that it would take that valuable interaction. It's not just here, buy my product, here, buy my product. Aladdin, poof, what do you need? Poof, what do you need? But you have time for character development with your product or service and the customer. Hey, we're having, you know, technical difficulties in a tech brand. Look at that. It can happen to anybody and everybody. And your brand is out there to put out the best impression possible, right? So she's gonna come back and we are gonna laugh about it and you are gonna laugh about it because you know that this is all about the growth, the growth of your company, for us to be a part of your story. I'm an account manager here as Beauty and the Geek. We chose to do an interview this evening, which would educate you and would give you content of value on your feed. So it's not just aimless scrolling or going down the rabbit hole, but you're able to stay a little while with us and enjoy the content that you're consuming, but it will also allow for personal development and growth of you as an individual, your understanding, and for the growth of your business. Because no matter what we do in life, we sell. And Even if you provide a referral, it's a sale because you've told someone about your positive or negative experience with someone, and that is going to influence influencers someone else's decision about a particular brand. Like me, personal story, um, I've never interacted with Ford before because some years ago, my dad and I had a conversation about cars, and he said Ford found on road dead. So did I develop a bias towards Ford because of a simple statement he made 8 or 9 years ago that had nothing to do with my own interaction with the Ford company? Those impressions last. So, if something I said or my dad said from 8 years ago put a lasting impression, what impression is your brand leaving with others? How do they feel? How is your experience? How is their experience with your brand? And you are also the brand. How you show up every day is the brand. Welcome back, Crystal.
Hi.
You have me over here, maintaining the audience. I don't know. I don't know what kind of on the spot training this is. I just came here for the shenanigans, ma'am.
I'm
Okay.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. You're a sweetheart. I had technical difficulties.
I told them we were gonna laugh about this. This was a setup.
Yeah, this was there you go. There's no way like there's no biz like showbiz, right?
Right.
Just the show must go on.
The show. This was a very immersive Onyx get in front of the camera moment. Okay.
Oh yeah, you definitely did it. You did a
In-
great job though. Hey, I'm mad at you.
Induction by fire.
Justin said, "Oh my god, you said hustle." Oh my gosh.
But listen, having words that your audience understands is also a touch point and builds trust, right? We can be classy, bougie, ratchet, like, make the stallion says.
Oh my
But
god.
all of these words created a brand for her, right? When we hear Cardi B, we know what kind of vibe to expect. When we hear Beyonce, we know kind of vibe to expect. When we
Right,
hear about, Tupac back in the day, old school music, about the jazz, about the rockers, about Kiss, we know what vibe to expect because they took time to build their brand.
right. Agree. I definitely agree with that. So, yeah, like I mean, I don't basically obviously in that particular conversation, I was not using it like that. I think you should hustle. I just feel like that's what it ends up being. Like you're hustling. You got to keep trying to get the money in from a new
The acquisition, the acquisition.
yeah,
Let's
you're in constant acquisition
sales.
stage, and then there's fatigue, right? Like if you can never get like keep your client base, any of them, that's tough because they make up a very huge portion of your business. 20% of your customers make up 80% of your income.
That's the 80/20 rule.
So
Make
it's
for
like
every
right. So it's
business.
like if you're not maintaining them, then what's happening? And I think a lot of times too, I'm just gonna say this, and then you can ask what you will, and then we'll try to leave, call it a night because I know you're tired too. But as a CEO, the one thing that I did notice is that entrepreneurs sometimes develop this idea, and it can happen from the beginning of their business, or it can happen at some point where they feel they've arrived, but they get into this mindset that they can't be fired. And while this is true to some degree, right? The truth is that you can be fired by your client base choosing to spend their money somewhere else. And what happens is if everyone does that, right? then you have no business. And
True.
if you don't think that that's possible, I beg of you, think of the businesses that didn't want to take the change, like the Lord and Taylors.
Blockbuster.
They didn't want to do it. And so if you cannot get with the times will get with you. And and so you have to keep that in mind that yes, okay, you're going to keep recycling people and you feel like, oh, okay, it's the thrill of getting the next person, but then you're only going to get as many people as you personally can produce in a month, or you have to duplicate yourself by way of getting other salespeople to basically do the same thing for you. What is the best way to duplicate yourself? A website, because it sells for you. I told you I've made we'll do a whole segment on that, but basically I've enabled my website to sell for me while I'm talking to you here. You know, the one for the spa. Beauty and the Geek is being transformed to do the same thing. You know, ultimately, that's you either going to duplicate yourself that way and keep trying to get new people on. I mean, having to get new people no matter what because you're not trying to retain your old clients. If you're not sending email out because you think email is dead, you're sadly mistaken. Ask yourself, other than when you were on social media, like what's the other way you know that anything is happening with any business that you know about? They're either sending you a text or they're sending you an email and you're opening it.
I mean, they're also on Twitter, which is also just the capture of the article. They're also on Facebook, resharing the content. They're on
Yeah.
Instagram, resharing the content. So, as business owners, you have to be on the platform for them to save and share your content.
Yeah, you got to be where people are, you know? And so yeah, that's what I mean by the hustle mode. I mean, you got to get out of that mode of like I have to keep worrying about selling right now, selling I need to sell my whole cart. I mean, you want to have that goal, of course, but to be very honest, we everyone like every person, every entrepreneur has goals, right? And the difference between those who have them and those who achieve them is because they have a system in place to get them to the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Because I talk to entrepreneurs all the time, all day, and that's the difference. That's what separates the mice from the men. So if you
Get
don't have
to
a system,
or you get to do that with your coaching part of Beauty and the Geek.
right, right, and that's what we do is we kind of pull them in, and it's like, no, you want the money, or you want to, you want to like retire, or do you like what do you want, and I think that's important too. Is like, well, what do you want? Because if what you want is just something to do, then just keep doing that and don't pay me anything because it's already working for you. You know what I mean? But if
Last
what you want to, well, if what you want to do is retire off of this, then yeah, you need to talk to me.
last question. Do you
Hmm.
feel in your experience that most business owners know what they want?
Absolutely not. These are not.
That
I
is a
have rarely
serious pain
spoken to,
point.
huh?
That's a serious pain point.
It is a serious pain point. Like 90, I want to say like 98%. And people might think, well, Crystal, 98% of the 20 people you spoke to, no. I was in Clubhouse nonstop till 5 o'clock in the morning for nearly 6 months. I've spoken to hundreds, if not thousands of people. And it's the same thing pretty much. It's
Same
the same problems, it's the same things coming up, it's the same mindset concerns. It's the same barriers to entry. It's the same excuses for some, not all. It's all of it's the same.
from across the waters to right here
It
at home.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where they come from. The concepts, some of the things that hold them back remain the same. And they don't know what they want. And here's the problem with not knowing what you want. If you don't know what you want, any road will take you there. Think about that for a moment. Any road. So people are like, oh, well, at least I'll get to my destination. Have you ever ended up on a wrong detour?
I mean, you could get there in a year or you could get there in 20 years. So, do
We
you
don't
want to
know.
take the
But
20-year
you're gonna
route?
get there or die trying, you know?
Ah,
So once ago, if you don't know where you're going, any path will take you there. I promise you that might be the single hand like the single statement I think you could use in everything. You can use it in a relationship. You can use it if you're about to date a woman. Like if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. You can date. You can use it for a job that you're trying to apply for. Some people apply for a job on a wing and a prayer. Did you research the company? Did you look up who was the hiring manager? Did you look up their turnaround rate? Did you
do you
look up
even
the
want to be a part of their culture?
do you want to be a part of their culture? Like, and that's the thing. Like, people aren't doing their homework. They're not showing up for themselves. They don't know what they want. They just know. It's not that they don't know what they want. They know what they want. They want money and they want to not go to work.
A
That's not gonna
process,
get
right?
that desire alone is not gonna get you through the moments where you want to pull out your hair, or the moments when you have 72 complaints, or the moment when someone leaves you a 1-star review, or any of these things. That's not going to pull you through that. I promise you right now.
It's no business school preparing you for a 1-star review, honey.
Oh, I wish they would. It's like, no, there's no, that moment of defeat, that moment where you're like, what did I do? That moment where you're questioning everything about yourself, or those moments when you're tired and you've been up all night shipping packages or orders and you literally have nothing left, but you have to get up and do it again. Yeah, just knowing that you don't want to work anymore is not going to make it through. You need to know what you want, period. Not what you want tomorrow, not even what you want 5 years from now. What do you ultimately want? And if you figure that one out, the rest kind of has to happen, because what else are you gonna do? It's part of the destination. So you gotta get, even today, with all due respect, I'll share with you today, getting on here when I am so uncomfortable being on video. I was laying in my bed. I'll tell you exactly what I did before that first test stream. I was laying in my bed. I was probably feeling sorry for myself. I was laying in my bed. It's my day off from the shop. And I was like, I just want to go to sleep. And I'm like, laying there. And I'm like, but you got to do your thing. You said you were going to get in and do the video. You bought all this equipment that you said was going to help make things better. And, you have clients and friends and family who want the information. Like, you said you were going to do it. So in my head, I'm like trying to go to sleep. And then I heard this voice. It's funny because it actually came from my Instagram reel. And it was like, there you go. There you go. Oh, you look so cute there, doing absolutely nothing. And I said, you know what? Alexa,
That
play
was
something
the
energizing.
sign.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. I just activated my son's Alexa. Alexa, stop. So, so I say, well, anyway, I said the name and I said, play something energizing. This thing played some, I don't know what, rave music. It literally said rave something. And I was basically, it was like the beautiful people was like banging in my room. And I'm like, oh, if there's nothing getting me up out of this bed, it's this. And I said, all right. So I think like 2 songs played. And I'm like, looking at my closet, like I have like, it's a long story. We'll talk about the other ADHD another day. But so I have to have an external closet. Like all my stuff has to be outside where I see it. And so I seen my this shirt that I'm wearing right now, and I was like, you wanted to wear that shirt? Get up and put the shirt on. Come on. I got up as soon as I put the shirt on. I was like, Why would I stop? I am unstoppable.
You was
And
ready. You was
that
ready.
was it. She was back. She was back. And I was like, all right, let's do this, Brutus. And then I did my test stream, and it's 1:35 in the morning, baby. And I did my second one. Hashtag goals. That's what I wanted to do. And it's done. And then we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna do it again, and so I get good at it, and my laptop doesn't die in the middle, and until I don't have to drag myself out, it's gonna happen. It is going to happen.
We gonna show up.
I'm just gonna show up. I don't care if it dies on me. I'm gonna do better. Look, I charged it up last time. Something is wrong with the cord. I'm gonna get another cord, and if the cord don't work, I'm gonna get a desktop. So it's going down. You guys are gonna see me till you're sick of me. You hear me?
I'm gonna see you so much. It's gonna be an ad in your Facebook stream.
You guys see it? We're like, what's going on? So anyway,
Did you
I
see
have
something from her?
did I what?
No, didn't I just see
What'd you say?
something from her 5 scrolls ago?
Yeah, you're like, what's up with this girl? She said she didn't like being on video. Can you check the comments? I don't know why I can't see the comments. Look, we're gonna get it together because I didn't see Justin's comments
Listen,
earlier.
we are gonna end the show. We are gonna check the comments next time because I can't see comments either. I
Yeah,
would
so we're gonna work it
imagine.
out. It's gonna be amazing. I promise you. One thing's for sure, two things for certain. I get it done. So it's going to be a beautiful thing. I just want to take a second out really quick before we get off of here. Tish, just to thank you for being such a sport, jumping on here with me impromptu in the middle of the night, like we're crazy, keeping up with the shenanigans because we don't die, we multiply. And, staying up with me and, doing the Beauty and the Geek shenanigans. Justin, if you're watching, thanks for the support and the comments in the comment section that I got a quick peek at when I got thrown off. Hopefully, we'll rediscuss the tech support part of this. And it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna show up, and y'all can laugh at me and get and be like, oh God, here she goes, the laptop died again. But guess what? I got a backup laptop, so now I'm gonna charge them both next time, and I'll be back on in just a couple of minutes. um,
First, it took you
but
5 minutes.
anyway, we're
It took you
approaching our
2.
our 60-minute mark, and I just wanted to say thank you again,
Oh,
Tish.
I appreciate ya.
All right, so I'm going to say goodnight to you guys. Thank you. And for those who might just be tuning in now, my name is Crystal Carmen. I am a marketing coach at Beauty and the Geek, a branding and digital marketing company. And I've been on today with Tish, who is a business marketing consultant for Beauty and the Geek and the owner of Added Advice. Thanks for watching. Boss up.